everybody, it's Ollie, and today, I have an awesome little kind of cool recipe for you. Now this recipe is something that goes really well with things like curries, it goes really well with different types of sauces, in like tortillas and different things like that. What is this mystical recipe that I'm talking about? This recipe is cheesy quinoa, or one of my favorite cheesy quinoa recipes. This recipe is super duper easy and it takes about 1 minute of prep, and the stuff you need is all really easy to get. The only difficult thing that you need to get is nutritional yeast. And that's the thing that basically gives it that real cheesy taste, which is awesome. So let me hit you with the recipe. Pepper, salt, onion powder, but that is completely optional. Extra virgin olive oil, nutritional yeast, and 3 cloves of garlic. Plus, not to forget your quinoa. So what do you do next? It's real simple. You wash your quinoa. You should always wash your quinoa. You can do this many ways. Google it, there's loads. I'll even maybe leave a link in the description that teaches you how to do it properly. After you've washed your quinoa, you want to boil some water. Get the water to boiling temperature, and then once it's at that temperature, chuck your quinoa in and then put it to a temperature so it can just simmer. The next thing you're going to do is cut the garlic nice and small. Just get it as small as you can. It doesn't have to be tiny. And then you're going to get a pan, chuck some extra virgin olive oil in it, and then chuck that lovely garlic in the pan to just give it a quick heat up. You don't really need to cook it to the point where it's black or anything, or burnt or charcoaly, as I usually end up doing. Instead, just brown off the garlic. After that, take it and pop it straight into the quinoa while it's boiling. Now this is really cool because basically the quinoa absorbs all the water, so if the water tastes good, the quinoa will taste good. And at this point you can add a nice pinch of salt, a nice pinch of pepper. And now this is where it gets important. After you've added a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper to the water, then what you want to do is you want to add a nice 2 teaspoons of onion powder or garlic powder. Now, as I say, they both really taste the same. I prefer onion powder a little bit more, but garlic powder adds a bit more of a taste. So if you're eating it with kind of more of a plain topping, so say you're eating it with just a basic sauce, then I'd definitely add garlic powder. And if you're eating it with more of a kind of lovely saucy thing, chuck a bit of onion powder in. Still brilliant. Now after that, you're going to take the nice pot and you're going to move it to the side, and you're going to get your nutritional yeast out and put a nice 3 big tablespoons into the mix, and you're going to stir that all together. And then you're going to add another pinch of salt and another pinch of pepper and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And then if you want to, you can add a little bit more garlic or a little bit more onion powder, but again, only a couple of pinches. Now then leave for like a minute before you taste, because I find it takes a minute to kind of get that flavor. And then after a minute, give it a little try, and if it doesn't taste like 100%, then add a little bit extra salt, a little bit of extra pepper, and a little bit more garlic powder. But I'd recommend just adding the pinch of salt and pepper before, because they really do change it and make it lovely. And then if you want it to be extra cheesy, just add more nutritional yeast, a tablespoon at a time, because you don't want to overkill it, because sometimes it can give it a weird aftertaste if you add way too much, because I've tried that before. And if you want to know how much quinoa I used, I basically just used 1 cup or 1 mug size of quinoa with 2 mug sizes of water, because if you cook quinoa, you just add double water. So say it's 1 bowl of quinoa, 2 bowls of water, etc. Now I mixed this with a nice chili that my girlfriend did the night before, and I also had avocados and little baby tomatoes, I think that's the name, and it was delicious. But you can kind of mix this with almost anything. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've had an awesome day. See you later, bye!